This is $100 trillion currency note. Yes, you heard it right. It's $100 trillion Zimbabwean dollar currency note, printed by Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe in the year 2008. No, it's not a collector's item. It's a real money printed to keep the economy alive. But even after that, people of Zimbabwe couldn't afford a loaf of bread with it. It's not one of an incident. Countries like Argentina, Venezuela, and even Hungary has faced such economic meltdowns. But then, during COVID-19 pandemic, United States of America printed $3 trillion in new currency. Japan also expanded its central bank's balance sheet to over 130% of its GDP. But these countries didn't collapse. Why? Why some countries print money and collapse, while others not only survive, they also grow? What makes the difference? Is it credibility, control, or the wealth? But the most important question is that, can a country like India even try to do this? In this video, we will break down the truth behind printing money, the mechanics, the risks, and the real world consequences. We will also explore why the rich nations seems to bend the rule of economics while others pay the price. This isn't just about government policies. It's about inflation, trust, and hidden forces that shape your job, your savings, and your future. Hey, this is Sarojit and this is Geoeconomica. Here we break down the complex global economics into real stories that matters. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Let's start with a simple question. What happens when government decides to print money? To understand why some countries collapse while others survive after printing money, we need to understand what printing money actually means and what governments do when they decide to print money. When a country prints money, it doesn't always mean physically printing cash. Most of it is digital, which actually means central banks increase the money supply by injecting money into the banking system. This can be done in many ways, such as buying government bonds or lowering interest rates to encourage lending. It is called monetary expansion. The basic idea is simple. More money into the system means people and businesses can spend more. That boosts demand, which encourages production, creates jobs, and grows the economy. But here's the catch. If that extra money chases the same limited amount of goods and services, prices starts rising. That's inflation. And when inflation gets out of control, it destroys everything: savings, wages, and purchasing power. Let's take the Weimar Republic of Germany in 1920s as an example. After the World War I, Germany was drowning in debt. It started printing money to fund the economy. By 1923, inflation was so extreme that prices were doubling in every few days. People carried bundles of currency just to buy bread. Workers were paid twice a day because their wages lost value within hours. Now let's fast forward to Zimbabwe in 2008. The government was dealing with massive debts, a shrinking economy, and international sanctions. To manage expenses, it printed money in large volumes. By mid-2008, inflation crossed a whopping 79.6 billion% per month. Basic items became unaffordable. The $100 trillion note became worthless overnight. Because in moments of crisis, war, recession, or pandemic, Printing money feels like the easiest, fastest solution. It allows governments to spend without raising taxes or borrowing from outside. But if done without control or credibility, it quickly turns into economic suicide. Now, let's take a closer look why rich countries like USA and Japan don't fall into crisis even after printing money. What's their secret? So far, we have seen how printing money can lead to collapse. But here's the confusing part. Some of the richest nations in the world have done exactly that. And not only they survived but continued to thrive. Let's take the example of United States. In response to the 2008 global financial crisis, the US launched a program called quantitative easing. The Federal Reserve began purchasing billions of dollars worth of government bonds and mortgage-backed securities. Essentially, they were injecting money into the system to stimulate borrowing and spending. Between 2008 and 2014, the Fed's balance sheet grew from $900 billion to over 4.5 trillion US dollars. Then came COVID-19. Between 2020 and 2021 alone, the US government injected more than $3 trillion into the economy. Direct stimulus checks were issued to citizens and businesses were supported through massive relief packages. And yet, the US dollar remained stable. Yes, inflation rose in 2021-2022, peaking at over 9%, but it did not spiral out of control. The country didn't go bankrupt. It didn't collapse. Why? Because the US enjoys a unique advantage, that is global trust. The US dollar is the world's primary reserve currency. Over 58% of the global foreign exchange reserves are held in dollars. Most international trade, including oil, happens only in dollars. This global demand creates a cushion. Even when the US prints more money, rest of the world absorbs much of it, maintaining its value. Now take the example of Japan. For decades, Japan has battled deflation and low growth. To stimulate the economy, the Bank of Japan has kept interest rates near zero and bought large amounts of government bonds, effectively printing money. By 2021, Japan's central bank balance sheet reached 130% of GDP. That's the highest among major economies. Still, inflation remained low for years and Japan avoided hyperinflation. How? Because Japan has a strong domestic savings, a stable government, and most importantly, it borrows mostly from its own people, not foreign lenders. That gives it flexibility and control. So, what's the key here? It's not just about printing money. It's about how much trust a market has in your economy. When investors believe that your government is stable, your institutions are strong, and your central bank is credible, they are less likely to panic when money is printed. But when the trust is missing, even small amount of printing money can trigger chaos. So the question is about economies like India, which is not as rich as the US or not as fragile as Zimbabwe or Venezuela. So, can India print money? Yes, but with discipline, transparency, and with limits. And most importantly, keeping the confidence intact of the public as well as the international investors. Next, let's tie it all together. What lessons can we draw from it? what is the future of global economics, and more importantly, your future. Printing money is inherently not good or bad. It's a tool, one that can save economies or even destroy it. Depends on who uses it and how. Wealthy nations like US can immediately increase the supply of money or print money because they have earned the trust of the world. Their currencies are stable, their institutions are credible, and their economies are deeply integrated into the global system. So, what's the takeaway from here? It's not about how much money is printed, it's about when, why, and who is doing it. As a citizen, this will help you to understand the economic news, inflation, and policy decisions. When central banks act, the effects ripple down to your savings, your job, and your cost of living. Because this topic isn't just about governments, but it's about you. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more deep dives into the world of economics. Thanks again.